The sworn testimony by former Goldman Sachs executive Timothy Leisner in the trial of Robert Ng taking place in the Eastern District Court of New York revealed that rapid approvals for billion-dollar cross-border transactions related to 1MDB by Bank Negara Malaysia were obtained through bribery of senior bank officials, including former Central Bank Governor Tan Sri Zeti Aziz. Now, there have been denials since, but there has not been adequate, open, transparent investigations. I have previously raised concerns about Bank Negara's involvement in the 1MDB scandal. Bank Negara has stated that it followed proper procedures and has passed information in its possession related to these transactions to law enforcement agencies. However, I believe Bank Negara lack a cynical attitude in defending the integrity against these grave accusations, does a disservice to Malaysia. We deserve a central bank that is beyond reproach and of the highest integrity. The testimony in the US courts revealed salacious details of the web of deceit, lies and criminality which allowed the 1MDB scandal to persist for so many years, and which involved bankers, regulators, many politicians and even private citizens within Malaysia's elite class. It is very important to note that the representations made by Leisner indicate a level of criminality on the part of Goldman Sachs that is shocking. The government of Malaysia, including Minister of Finance, Zafrul, has bragged about reaching favorable settlements with Goldman Sachs in 2020. On the contrary, I think most Malaysians feel the government sold us out and gave Goldman Sachs a get out of jail free card. On October 18, 2010, I raised the 1MDB issue in Parliament, the first time the scandal was discussed in Parliament. Even then, I questioned issues of governance and transparency and what interests politicians had in the deal. 12 years later, the saga of 1MDB continues to have a very negative impact on our economy, adversely affecting our ability to attract foreign direct investments and to generate economic growth necessary to revive the economy and create good jobs lost during the pandemic. Revelations about illicit financial transactions from the Panama Papers, Pandora Papers, and most recently from Credit Suisse document leak illustrate that major financial crimes take place within the context of a corrupt system and with the involvement from the powers that be. Some politicians in Malaysia keep on harping about anti-corruption. Leaders come and go, the same mantra applies. However, when it comes to doing something about it, they fail to walk the talk. Partly because some of them were complicit to the crimes or were directly or indirectly involved, enriching their families and their cronies. Well, when I passed a major reform of the Anti-Corruption Act in 1997 as acting Prime Minister, I can still recall that many members of the cabinet feared what might happen to them. Now, enforcement agencies in Malaysia lack the will to bring all those involved in the scandal to justice. Their behavior suggests a desire to pick one character as the fall guy rather than to deal with the problem of corruption in Malaysia as a systemic scourge. Corruption can only be rooted out through effective and independent enforcement of the laws, transparency, reform of the financial services sector, media freedom, and most importantly, the political will and courageous leadership to stand up to vested interests, well-connected and funded cronies, and politicians who are themselves complicit in the crimes. I am requesting the Speaker of Parliament to reserve time for special and urgent debate in Parliament starting next week on the 1MDB case and the related matters, including the failure of Bank Negara Malaysia, the MACC, the police over the last 12 years to comprehensively address this issue, as well as a comprehensive review of the settlements that were reached by Goldman Sachs. Now, this is of course a major scandal, but there are many other huge, massive or mega scandals that have not been answered or dealt with. Securities Commission, an investigation into AirAsia, Airbus alleged bribery. AirAsia's $500 million loan, 80% backed by the government, Dana Jamin Nasional Berhad, despite PN17 status issued against AirAsia on January 13. Sabah State Carbon Credit Scheme, $80 billion deal blocked by State Attorney General due to unfair and absurd contract terms and required far more in-depth and diligent process. Shocking that the state government could summarily proceed to approve only to be checked at the last hour by the State Attorney General. The other major project unraveling is the 5G DNB. We have seen letters from 5 ambassadors questioning if government will renege on deal with Ericsson to build the 5G network. Now, if the government does cancel, what are the penalties it will have to pay for this failed adventure? Failure of telcos to take up the SWN offering. Private telcos are actively lobbying to set up a 5G consortium parallel to DNB, which would crush the SWN business model. How will rural areas benefit from high-speed wireless internet when we still don't have basic flood mitigation in this country? Malaysians continue to be shocked by these revelations. Both the YMDB scandal, other failures on the part of the authorities to act promptly, judiciously, and courageously. I personally am outraged because we find that the country and the system seems to be failing, and we lack the leadership with resolve and courage and the tenacity to act according to the laws of this country. We seem to be still continuing the archaic method of protecting the rich, cronies, and the conglomerates. Even in our action, decision to prosecute under Barisan Nasional, under Perikatan Nasional, and even at times has been shown to our horror, even during the PH government, we have seen an unwillingness to take strong action against some of these excesses and abuse of power and privilege. We have also seen the involvement of questionable figures in the policy making, advising the government by those who were complicit in the crimes and in the corruption. And we have also seen actions taken by Attorney General Chambers which casts serious doubt on its integrity and credibility. We therefore need to increase our resolve to act, to bring about change, and to vote for leaders committed to good governance, justice, and the rule of law.